ValveTime.net.
Hi, and welcome to episode 9 of ValveTime Top 5. Our last episode got us thinking about how some of Valve's greatest moments are often defined by equally great music. And that got us thinking about their rather expansive catalog of music and the numerous soundtracks they have released over the years. So in this episode, we'll be taking a look at what we feel are the top 5 best soundtracks. As with films, music in games help play an important role in helping to establish atmosphere, tones, and themes, while also regularly providing some additional emotional weight or value to the experience. It's an understatement to call music a vital component, so we thought it was time to dedicate a whole episode to talking about our favorite pieces from Valve's own library. To be eligible for a place in our list, the music does not have to have been sold separately from the main game as a soundtrack, simply the score itself is enough. Since we're going to be talking about a few different Valve games and series, the episode will feature numerous spoilers, so be sure to switch off now if you're worried about having something ruined. Now let's get to it. Here are our top 5 best soundtracks. Number 5. We didn't feel this list would have been complete without at least mentioning Half-Life 2, even if it's not quite as high as some may have anticipated. While it might be one of Valve's earliest soundtracks, Kelly Bailey did an amazing job improving on his work from the original Half-Life to make an extremely fitting score for Half-Life 2, which perfectly sells the game's excellent visual and world design along with its expert tone and pacing. Half-Life 2's soundtrack feels like one of the grandest and most epic from Valve's entire library, which is particularly fitting for their longest single-player experience. Its atmospheric nature perfectly matches the game's dystopian sci-fi universe and helps sell the biggest set pieces, the most engrossing environments, and its boldest moments perfectly. While we feel the Half-Life 2 soundtrack is so well developed that we don't really need to try and convince you any further, that doesn't necessarily mean it's our favorite, which explains its spot at number 5 on our list. Number 4. When Team Fortress 2 was first released inside the Orange Box in 2007, it had a pretty limited soundtrack, most of which wasn't even used in the game itself. Given the game's major focus on multiplayer gameplay, the few musical tracks included were actually only featured in early promotional material such as trailers and the Meet the Team shorts. While it's still true that the music doesn't feature heavily into the core TF2 gameplay experience outside of the man vs. machine game mode, the game's soundtrack is one of Valve's most impressive and interesting. This is largely due to the massive amount of post-launch additional content released by Valve, including entire series worth of new source filmmaker shorts and numerous game-changing modes. This kind of post-launch support was unheard of for Valve prior to TF2, and it has definitely helped the game's soundtrack to steadily grow dramatically more expansive and involving, with new additions as recently as the Love and War update released in June 2014. From the unsettling rhythms of Meet the Spies right behind you and the Scream Fortress theme, to the synthesized madness of man vs. machine robots and the fast-paced war drums of Playing with Danger, the Team Fortress 2 soundtrack has evolved and changed in order to fit a variety of significantly different themes without losing its own distinctive traits. Unfortunately, as much as we love the TF2 soundtrack, its effects, as we mentioned earlier, are largely restricted to the main menu and the man vs. machine game mode. This massively limits how much of an impact it is able to have on the gameplay experience, sadly stopping us from putting it any higher on our list. Number 3. Now, we know Dota 2 doesn't always seem to be the most popular game amongst our viewer base, but we would absolutely be doing a disservice to not include it somewhere on the list, even if just so we're able to introduce the fantastic soundtrack to those who may not be aware of how good it really is. As Valve's latest title, Dota 2 features one of the most advanced soundtracks featured so far, using an impressive dynamic layering system to carefully switch from slower, more serene farming music to intense battle themes at a moment's notice in order to reflect the changing action as it happens on screen. While tech is all fine and good, what would a soundtrack be without the music itself? Well, let's just say composer Tim Larkin really managed to bring the world of Dota to life with one of Valve's only fully orchestrated scores, which is helpfully accompanied by brilliant mixed-gender choirs. Like TF2, the music of Dota definitely takes something of a back seat in a highly competitive, fast-paced multiplayer situation, but you thankfully don't have to play the game itself to enjoy its score. And when you are playing, whether it's a sudden Roshan kill or a hectic teamfight, Dota 2's soundtrack can always help emphasize the game's biggest moments to make them feel just a little bit more grand, and for that we love it. Number 2. As we've touched upon in previous episodes of Top 5 and numerous other series, it was imperative for Valve to bring their A game after the enormous success of Half-Life 2 in 2004. While Half-Life 2's soundtrack was by far their best to date, we were extremely pleased and surprised when Kelly Bailey somehow bested himself for the episodic sequels. While we're technically cheating with this number, we thought it was important to list both Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Half-Life 2 Episode 2 together, given the fact that the soundtracks for both games were developed at the same time prior to the release of either game. This essentially made both scores two parts of a larger, more complete package, much like the episodic sequels themselves. Somehow, the combined soundtrack of both games helped to brilliantly emphasize the most powerful and interesting sequences from the episodes even more effectively than Half-Life 2's score. This was particularly important in Episode 1 and 2 given the more frequent emotional sequences present in both games. While some will argue the environments and set pieces aren't as bold or as interesting as those from Half-Life 2, we honestly feel the soundtrack from Episodes 1 and 2 is an undisputable step up, and even to this day, listening to them excites us even more for the Half-Life series. Number 1. Regular viewers may already know that we absolutely adore both Portal 2 and its music, so is it really any surprise that it ended up here in the number 1 spot? Portal 2's soundtrack is by far the largest and most ambitious Valve have ever created. While the Left 4 Dead series had previously used dynamic musical cues to warn of impending danger, Portal 2 was Valve's first game to feature a truly dynamic and responsive soundtrack which altered in real time to reflect the player's actions. helping to add an extra layer of delicious audible depth to puzzle and exploration sequences alike. While we absolutely love everything composer Mike Moraski has contributed so far, we feel Portal 2 is by far his greatest achievement with Valve to date. The largely electronic score perfectly accompanies the crazy, unpredictable robotic world of Aperture Science, while also accenting the more atmospheric, quieter exploratory moments as we journey through previously unseen and intriguing new locations, helping to make Portal 2's score our #1 best soundtrack. That wraps up what we think about the best soundtracks in Valve's game library. If you have your own personal version of this list, we want to hear about it, so don't forget to leave a comment below letting us know what you think. Feel free to also leave suggestions for future episode topics, as we're always looking out for new ideas. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out our previous episodes of Top 5 and to share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.